What the hell is this? Why is my brother spending $5,000 on this Fortnite every day? Look, I don't want to hate on Fortnite, doing that is just kinda pathetic at this point, but does he not comprehend what you can buy for the cost of a cosmetic item that he probably won't use after like a week when something he likes more comes out? Let's say 15 bucks. You can buy, I don't know, one and a half That's What She Said game, second expansion. Look, the point is, $15 can buy you a lot. But among all those things is a shining $15 gem. A $15 gem that could easily price itself as a $60 one, maybe even more, but doesn't, seemingly all out of generosity. This gem is Hollow Knight. Now if you'd ask me what I've been doing the past 2 or 3 months, I'd say spending time with family and talking to friends. But I would be lying, because in reality I've been playing Hollow Knight for an unhealthy amount of time, and even though I've already gone 112% twice, which is the maximum percentage you can get, which is really sad if you think about it, I still feel like there's so much to do in this world. You can tell so much passion went into this masterpiece. The land of Hallownest has just enthralled me, and has taken up more time in my life than I'd like to admit. Anyways, I'm gonna talk about it here, but if you haven't experienced this game for yourself, I urge you to go play it. You will not regret it. Don't spoil yourself here, go form your own opinions, and then come back after you've completed the game and watch this video, because playing through the game is not something you'd want to miss out on. So, without further ado, let's get right into this. Now I've mentioned before that I am not a big fan of having a video game story that's in your face and annoying. I stand by my claim that if somebody really cares about a game enough, they should be able to spend the time to seek out why some things, such as characters and events, are happening, or at least more in-depth details about said characters or events. And while cinematic cutscenes and exposition can create an entirely different experience, while not being necessarily worse, the approach I prefer promotes exploration, which can lead to some people finding special Easter eggs and lore, while in later playthroughs or speedruns, none of it really matters as you can just walk past that library or whatever without having to continuously skip cutscenes. Hollow Knight is the perfect example of this, but like multiplied to 1,000. You can see the credits while only seeing a minuscule portion of what the game offers, but if you really dig beneath the surface, there's so much substance, like too much. Hollow Knight is like an anthill. While at first it seems simple and approachable, beneath the surface there's an entire set of winding tunnels and structures where ants of different shapes and sizes serve different roles and lives, all to survive the harsh world above. Ironically, that simile basically describes the entire game, but Hollow Knight doesn't have any ants in it, so the game is kinda shit. But other than that one little hiccup, Hollow Knight excels in gameplay, simple yet effective. Kinda like basically all of my favorite games, except unlike Baby Easy Mario Galaxy, this game is well... So it's a bit on the hard side of things, but even then everything feels fair, except for Markoth. Markoth is a bitch. Anyways, to prove my point, let's look at the Mantis Lords. These insects aren't too hard to beat, but can be tough for a beginner to master. But the way this boss is handled, the Mantis Village is a fun challenge and all the build up to the fight is great, but that's besides the point, because once the first lord is defeated, instead of fighting each separately, two decide to get up and start smacking that void ass of yours. This speeds up the pace of the battle immensely. Since you've already shown you have the ability to win against one, the true challenge begins, which tests you further on what you've already learned, rather than throwing new moves at you. And later on in the game, this happens. So the combat is nice, the nail is simple to use, spells are easy to understand, and charms allow for you to come up with different strategies to beat bosses, while still not overcomplicating character customization. And all of that is cool, but while I enjoy the game for the gameplay, I, and many others, stay for the lore. This is where my little all story is side story philosophy comes into play. If you really pay attention while playing the game, or you can just watch a Mossback video, the entire story is this depressing yet somewhat inspiring tale of the Pale King attempting to create an eternal kingdom, failing in the process as, no matter how hard you try, nothing can truly last forever. But among all that hopelessness are little droplets of, well, hope. Charming characters are dotted around Hallownest to stop it from becoming this overbearing sad boy party. I'm of course talking about my boy Ogrim over here. Except most of these guys' backstories are also kinda sad, so I'll just stop talking. While Hollow Knight is not only stuffed with tons of lore, as Mr. Mossback over there proves, but tons of content in general. Like I said earlier, beating the game isn't too difficult, but beating the supposed final boss for the first time is just the beginning, despite the fact that you probably already have like at least 40 hours played on the game, as there is a bunch more to discover beneath the surface that is beneath the surface. There are the pantheons, optional side quests, entire characters, Fluke Marm. But instead of listing names, let's look at Nightmare King Grim as an example. To even find this guy, you need to perform a bunch of weird side quests to beat this little turd over here, including performing a ritual with Troop Master Grim, a little dance as he calls it, to then feed this boy more McDonald's to then finally fight the notorious Nightmare King. Or you can just banish them and lose custody over Baby Grim as they are replaced by a lousy charm. This includes missing out on the NKG fight, so maybe don't listen to Broom over there. He gives terrible advice. So the developers of the game don't seem to really care if you actually get to see everything the game offers, which honestly just makes the experience more unique for everybody. Another example of this is the many paths one can take to reach the same destination, which is caused by the open nature of the world. This allows people to share their experiences with others, in a similar fashion to the experiences people have in other open world games, like Breath of the Wild. Now I've almost said all that I wanted to in this video, but before we get into this final segment, I just want to show you this one last clip. This is a beautiful moment. Hollow Knight's score, composed by Christopher Larkin, is one of the best video game soundtracks I've ever listened to. The use of it brings everything I've previously talked about together. Story elements are contextualized by ingenious leitmotifs, Calming music brings an amazing atmosphere to the beautifully hand-drawn landscapes, and fantastic battle themes play to accompany harsh, punishing bosses. But this moment, first entering the City of Tears, this is what really made me realize how beautiful and wonderful this world is. After traversing a series of mildly difficult platforming, you reach the bench with Coral, and then you are just released into this great city as the music just grows into this breathtaking peace. A sigh of relief as you walk down the abandoned streets of this fallen kingdom with the feeling of reflection dawning upon you. This is just a perfect little event. Among millions of video games, there are sometimes little moments like these, so insignificant to the rest of the game, but so representative of the love used to create it. And that is what makes wasting my time rotting in a chair looking at a computer worth it. While most are pretty garbage, a truly great video game isn't just a game. It's the culmination of art, music, programming, level design, and hard work. And as time goes by, we're starting to see less and less of this and more copy and pasted garbage. So to all the video game developers out there, be more like Team Cherry. Make games as a passion, not a business. And with that, stay ingenuitive, fellow humans. Have a very Merry Christmas, and thank you for watching.